Hey guys, it's Paradise, and you're no doubt wanting to respec your stats and build in Shadow of the Erdtree with all of those juicy new weapons and gear to try out. So here's a quick guide going over each of the new Larval Tear locations within the DLC. It's good to remember that to respec your stats and build, it's done the same way in the base game even with the new Larval Tears. On the map, you press R1 to switch between the new DLC map and the base game map, and you want to visit Renala here on the map at the Rhea Lucaria Academy. Running up and speaking with her and choosing Rebirth lets you reallocate all of your stats to change your build, and once you have confirmed it, you will consume the Larval Tear. So to grab the new Larval Tears, you first need to know that these can only be found at night time. You can easily change the time of day to night by resting at a site of grace and passing time till nightfall. The locations for the Larval Tears have a visual appearance of a glowing blue cluster of ghost graves, with the shiny item in the middle being the Larval Tear. So here's the locations. For number 1, begin at the Gravesite Plain Grace Point at the very start of the DLC. Mark here on the map and travel over to this area at night. Here's the full route. So hop onto your mount and head towards your marker, which is pretty much straight east, and there shouldn't even be any enemies along the way. Keep progressing forwards, and as you can see in the distance just below the moon, there'll be these glowing blue graves, and this is where the Larval Tear is. There's a shiny item in the middle and you want to pick it up, so the Larval Tear is yours. For number 2, we're at the Cliffroad Terminus Grace Point, but to get here, if you haven't got here before, you want to travel from the 3-path cross Grace Point, following my route up the hill and under the arches until you break off south and travel along the cliffside all the way till you reach the Grace Point. Once you're there though, mark here on the map and travel there at night following this route. So again, hop on your mount and head towards your marker. It's in the sort of south or southeast area. Just progress straight towards it, jumping up the rocks. There's a few enemies, but they're easy to avoid, and you'll see the glowing graves with the Larval Tear in the middle. For number 3, we start at the 3-path cross site of grace and mark just north where you can see I am on the screen. Follow this route at nighttime. So mount up, head towards your marker. It's pretty much straight to the north. There's a little bit of a run here because you do need to sort of curve down the hill, but there's no enemies on the way or anything problematic, so just run forwards, jump down the gap, you won't take any fall damage, and you see the glowing graves. Make sure it's nighttime, pick up that Larval Tear. For number 4, we're moving to the Skadu Altus area, and this one is near the Pillar Path Waypoint, which you can get to by traveling from the 3-path cross, over the bridge, and then southeast along the road from the castle front. Mark here on the map and follow this route. So from the nearest Grace Point, hop on your mount, head towards your marker. There'll be some bird statues, and some of them do come alive and might chase you, but if you parkour your way up the rocks, you can avoid most of them. And then just ahead to the east, you'll see the actual graves with the Larval Tear. Pick it up and it's yours. For number 5, this one is at the nearby Highroad Cross Grace Point after doing the Castle Ensis area. Mark here just south of the Church of Crusade and follow my route at nighttime. So hop on your mount. This is super easy to get to. Just make your way to the marker. Obviously you have to go around the big cliff or hill. There is some enemies on the way, but they shouldn't really aggro you, or at least they shouldn't damage you. So just follow the grassy plains towards your marker, which is about west or northwest, and you'll see the graves in the distance. Again, make sure it's nighttime, and then you can grab the Larval Tear. For number 6, you want to go from the Highroad Cross Grace Point, but if you've just done number 5, you can mark here on your map and run there anyway, but just in case you need the full route from the Grace Point, here you go. So from the Grace Point, mount up, head towards the marker. Again, if you already grabbed number 5, you can run straight there, just mark it and make your way over. If you're going from the Grace Point, you're going to want to hop over these walls once you get to the path, hop up the rocks. There'll be no major enemies or problems along the way. Just go to that marker to the northeast until you see the graves, and then pick up the Larval Tear. For the next set of locations, we need to get to the Rao base area of the map, and the Ancient Ruins base Grace Point is where you need to unlock. To get here, you can travel from the North Ruins or the Highroad Cross Grace Point, following this path through a cave and under the mountain. I'll show you the route and then we'll show the Larval Tear. So from the North Ruins, hop on your mount and head towards those markers that we just showed that hopefully you placed on your map. We're looking for this water area with the spirit wormy boys. There'll be a cave with a statue. Just run inside this cave, past the flower enemies, deeper inside, past the strange tree with those horrible enemies, to the right outside, and we'll get to a sort of swamp or boggy-like area. From here, you want to head northwest. Hopefully you've put markers down because it does make it easier. Dodge all of the birds as you go through this swamp area as you start to head more to the west. There'll be even more birds that we're going to encounter soon. Keep riding through the swampy area until you get to the opening at the end, and then you'll be in the Ral base, and just down the hill will be the Grace Point. Now that you have the Ancient Ruins base Grace Point, mark here on the map, which is where the Larval Tear is located, and here's the full route again at nighttime. So hop on your mount and start heading southwest and get ready because there's some big golem enemies ahead. The worst one is the one with the bow that you can see here. He will shoot at you, so try to strafe as the arrow is being prepared in your direction, and it should miss and you shouldn't take any damage or get knocked off. As long as you're zigzagging a little bit, you should be okay. Dodge the second golem, and just over here by the cliff will be the next Larval Tear. Next up, the Larval Tear is in the very northwest part of the map in the Ral base. If you don't have the Ravine North Site of Grace, I'll show you the route to get there and then the Larval Tear. So follow this route from the Ancient Ruins base if you don't have the Ravine North Site of Grace. So hop on your mount, we're going to take the same pathway as before, dodging the golem with the arrow up ahead. But we're going to be going a different direction. We're going to be going more westwards instead of more southwards. So as that arrow is shot your way, strafe a bit and then stick to the right hand side of this area, dodge the second golem, and on this right hand side soon enough you'll see an opening that you can travel in. Here's the opening, jump down, you won't take any damage, follow it along. There are enemies along this pathway, but if you're riding your mount you should be fine, you shouldn't get hit by anything. Keep sticking to the right, as you can see, heading in that sort of northwest direction now. There's a big open area here with some more enemies, but we're just going to keep riding and we're going to stick on this right side until we can jump up, because then we have the Site of Grace, which is going to be a lot closer for us, and it's just good to have all those grace points. So from here, jump down into the water and start heading pretty much directly west. There's going to be some scorpions that are flying around. I think they're scorpions, they're some kind of bugs, but we want to give them a wide berth. Head around to this area on the right, up the hill, straight forwards where we see the glowing blue gravestone with the next Larval Tear. Finally, we have the last tier, which is near the Church District Highroad Grace Point. To get here, you need to travel through the Morth Ruins, through this spot on the map, where there'll be a cave to travel through that eventually leads to a ladder going to Bonnie Village. Once you're there, follow the main path over the bridges and the road north to reach this Grace Point, and then at the Church District Highroad, mark here on the map for the final Larval Tear, and here is the route. So hop onto your mount and head straight west, and you're going to see it pretty much straight away. It's a home run to get this next Larval Tear. So there you have it, all of the Larval Tears in the new DLC, so you can respec into all of these fun different weapons and try different builds. Drop a like and comment below if we've helped you out with this video, and stay subscribed because we have more Elden Ring that you don't want to miss out on coming your way very soon.